Do you find yourself struggling to declutter your home? Have you been trying for months, maybe years, and you feel like you're making no progress and that it is taking forever? Nope, you don't need to hire a professional organizer because I have got you covered. If we've never met before, my name is Robyn and I help people who are stuck decluttering to simplify their lives. So we're going to cover how to declutter more faster by answering questions like, where do a lot of people get stuck? How do you choose the right place to start? Ask the right decluttering questions. And the very first question is, what do I do first? Grab your tea and let's go. First things first, you need to grab your boxes. Now, the easiest way to start your decluttering journey is to grab 4 boxes and to label them recycling. Now, of course, you're going to check your local government or recycling centers for what you can recycle and where. The second thing, garbage or trash or things that cannot be donated or repaired or recycled. This is generally the last resort, but it happens. The donation box or the sell box. Now, for me, when I'm decluttering, I just use the same box for those things because usually I'm just donating. The odd thing I will sell. Now, the things that I will sell are things that I generally will only sell for like 20-ish% of their original value. And usually I'll only sell it if I can get more than $30 for it, because to me, it just has a lot of effort and that really can slow you down. The whole point is that you're trying to declutter your house and make a huge difference, right? Another one is to bring home. These are the things that are in the wrong spot, but that they have a home in the rest of the house. Now, whatever you do, do not, and I repeat, do not get stuck looking for the right boxes. Any box will do. Honestly, I will often just use like a laundry basket. And that brings me to, don't get stuck in perfectionism. So many people, they get stuck because instead of just grabbing some boxes and trash bags and getting started, they end up getting stuck trying to find the perfect decluttering process or the best way to make decisions, the perfect charity and the right boxes. Like honestly, so many people, they're just like, I gotta do it right. And it's like, no. I hate to tell you this, Linda, but that is your subconscious trying to trick you into procrastinating. And why would it do this? Your subconscious wants you to stay right where you are because it feels like that is safe. Your subconscious is like, hey, everything's fine. It doesn't understand. But as far as your subconscious is concerned, things can only get worse. Meanwhile, you're just like, hey, I actually want to declutter my house. Now I'm going to get into more of that at a later time. But there is nothing that is ever going to be perfect. It's impossible. Nothing will be perfect. So I just want you to go for it. The best thing to do is just to start, grab your boxes, choose your space, and just start going through piles of stuff, which brings me to how to get a quick win and choose the right room. Now, I always get a question of where's the first place that I should start, which is completely understandable. Now, this can be different for a lot of people. Now, for some people, I would be like, just start anywhere. The thing is, sometimes where we start can really throw us off. So just make sure it is an area where you can get in a quick win. Now, a quick win is an area, quite often a small space, that won't take too long. And maybe you can even do in one session. And then you can walk by it and pat yourself on the back. I seriously walk by my junk drawer and I fawn over it. I just love it. I open it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I did such a good job. So sometimes I tell people, just start with a junk drawer. And there's no surprise, obviously, because I do it all the time. And the thing is, that's an area that like gets messy often. And I think that you will find things in there where you're like, this has been in here for 5 years and I've never needed it, which is awesome. Also, you could do like the laundry room or an easier room like the living room for a lot of people. And just like honestly, somewhere that has less stuff and where you can make some quick decisions. And maybe in some cases, it's even just clearing off your kitchen or your bathroom counters, any flat surfaces in the entryway. Sometimes people wonder, hey, I might as well just start with my garage. That feels awful. Or my office or storage space or the kitchen. Now, I leave those rooms until later because they can be full of indecision and a large number of items. If you've ever moved, your kitchen is full of stuff. Well, mine is anyway. And also the office, hello, paperwork. Another really important thing is to ask the right questions. Now, clutter is a representation of indecision overall. If you think about a pile of paper, like say you get your mail and you're like, I'm just gonna put that down right there. That is you saying, I don't feel like deciding this right now. Believe me, I do this all the time, so do not worry. If you can hear my cat is scratching the scratching post. So a great way to tackle that is through asking the right questions. So when we're decluttering, one of my favorite questions to ask is, do I need this? Like, do you need it? Is it something that you require for like a toaster? I mean, like, do you need a toaster to stay alive? No. But if you're like me, I tend to be a little more minimalist light, and I need a toaster when I'm making my kid toast in the morning because I don't feel like doing it any other way. Another example would be like, do I use this? So do you use it? Yes, I use my toaster. Say I didn't use my toaster, I'd be like, no. The other example would be like, I had 2 Instant Pots. I'm in the process of getting rid of one. One of them is an 8-quart. And for the longest time, I used it to make stock. But I have decided I'm going to use my other roaster thing for that. So I don't need a second Instant Pot. It is taking up space. And I don't do that. So I don't use it. So it needs to go. The third question is, do I like this? This is really good in the example of like artwork, or if you think about like ornaments. In my family, giving ornaments is a really big thing. If we're not really enjoying them, or if you're like, I'm not really digging that artwork, it's okay to let it go. Even if it's something that you've enjoyed for a really long time, it's okay to let it go. Now you might be like, but I've been trying to declutter forever and I keep getting stuck. Now, this might be deeper than asking the right questions and having the right boxes. Do you find that every time you try to declutter that you get on a roll and then something derails you? It's something weird. It's almost like you're being sabotaged by somebody, maybe even you. Do you find yourself struggling over every decision, or you get bad feelings? Have you been trying for a really long time, even though you watch the videos and read the books and the blogs? Then it could be a mindset issue, which can be way harder to fix without the right approach. In the Untangled membership, we address mindset things like what your cluttered environment is doing to you, how your brain might be trying to keep you stuck so it feels safe, beliefs that are unknowingly keeping you stuck, like waste not, want not, or don't be wasteful. Habits that you have, like whenever you declutter, maybe like whenever you declutter, something comes up and you're like, I'm just gonna stop. Or things that you do when you buy, or even in relationships. Like perfectionism patterns that come up, a big one we talk about. There's a whole section on patterns. We talk about perfectionism, stopping when we're triggered, the past. So we get into a little bit of childhood stuff, not too much. This is not like psychology, but we are getting into sort of like some of the stuff behind all of that. Stuff that happens like in as a young adult, from birth to death to divorce. And how to overcome all of it, reframe it so that you can declutter. And you will learn so much about yourself. And that's just the mindset phase. There's also the action phase, where we go over how to declutter every room in your house. Like I talk about like the bathroom or the kitchen. There's a whole section on the kitchen. There's actually a whole bonus on the kitchen. There's also the momentum phase, so you can keep your home decluttered for good. To learn more, head on over to minimalisthome.ca/untangled. Here's another space-saving tip. Work the entire room until you're finished. Now, one of the most important things is to avoid moving around from room to room like a little Tinkerbell, just dancing around. We pick something up and we bring it to the proper place. No, Linda, just put it in the bring home box and then keep working on that room. You can bring things to their home when you're finished that room, or if you have to, when you're done for the day. The problem though, is that then we can get stuck in that area. I get it though. Decluttering involves a lot of decisions. And when we pick something up and we know where it goes, our brain's like, yes, I know where this goes. I'm gonna take a break, because your brain is like, oh, I can relax a little bit. I'm gonna go and bring it there. We don't waste so much time wandering around. And the best way to get a clutter-free home is to work through each room fully until it's done. Then move on to the next room. Start with the easy stuff. Now, I don't want to be controversial, but I think Marie Kondo had it wrong in one big way. Now, not for everybody, okay? Like, I get it. I think she was great. I was super inspired when her show came out, but she suggests taking everything out of your kitchen cabinets, putting them all over the counter, and then working through any unwanted items. Yikes. Like, ooh, to me, that just makes me like verklempt. The problem is that a pile of stuff is completely overwhelming for a lot of us. Me. What we want to do is to keep the stress level down so that we want to do this again, so that we want to do this until the job is done. The whole point is declutter more faster. So if we're like, oh, that was overwhelming and I didn't enjoy it, then we're not going to want to declutter. What we want to do is keep the stress level down. So we want to do this until the job is done so we can declutter more. Just like we're starting in an easy room, a great idea is starting with the easy things and one at a time, not like a big old pile that's like all over your kitchen so you can't even make dinner. So start by grabbing garbage, throwing some of the stuff in the recycling bin, bring any dishes, like maybe you have teenagers like I do, and you definitely are like, where the heck are all of the bowls? They're in the teenagers' rooms. This is one of the times where I actually break the rule about returning things home early, is I will actually like go ahead and like put dishes because, you know, they're out of the way. Or at least just save it for the end of that decluttering session, because like that's something like obviously you need your dishes, right? After you've done the trash and the forks, move on to old mail or grab a box and just start going through it. Pick up your item and ask yourself those questions that I gave you before and decide quickly. And if you stress over every single item, it's just going to take you way too much time and you will just probably never reach your decluttering goals, or it's going to take forever. Now, I tend to leave paper clutter a wee bit later in the process. Now, that is a spot where you need to make sure that you are rested, that you are hydrated, and that you are in a good mood. And I also suggest leaving sentimental items until way, way, way later. Once you have built up those decluttering muscles, go for it. And focus and put the time in. One of the things that can make decluttering take such a long time is when we are inconsistent. Even just doing a little bit every single day can have a huge impact. First of all, you are creating a bit of a habit. And that is a great habit to have. Even if, well, when you declutter your entire house, that is a habit that you have, which is great because then you can keep on top of things. Even if you declutter for only 30 minutes a day, that's 182 and a half hours in a year. Now, do you think that's enough time to declutter your entire house? I bet it is, or at least it's close. And you might groan and be like, oh my gosh, don't say a year. Listen, Linda, how long have you been wanting to declutter your house? One of the reasons people have such a hard time decluttering their home is that they declutter for a week or two and then they run out of steam. Or they decide that they really just need to organize. So then they go ahead and they buy some storage bins and they throw some things in and they're wondering why there is still so much stuff left over. Now, one of my favorite things to do is to set a goal and work through them quickly to see if I can reach that goal. So say like, I want to declutter 20 things today. That can be helpful because some of us, we really just struggle with indecision. And if we're like, I need to get 20 done and I'm going to do it in a certain amount of time. So I'll link my favorite timer below. I love the time timer and I will set it and I'll say like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I mean, you'd be amazed at how much you can get done. Yes, it's going to be hard work, but at other times you'll declutter fast. You'll be proud whether you declutter a whole space or a whole room. Staying consistent is the easiest way to spend way less time decluttering your home. Keep your eye on the prize. I want you to just sit back and close your eyes. Picture your gorgeous, tidy home. Imagine walking through the front door and feeling like it's a new home. There's nothing on the surfaces. The coffee table is clear. Maybe you got a cup of tea. And you walk through the kitchen, everything's in its place. Maybe there are flowers on the counter, or maybe not. Your wardrobe is nice and tidy. Your shoes are neatly tucked away. The powder room is clean and fresh. You open the closets and everything is in its place, and it feels amazing. Now you can do this. You just need to put in more time and be consistent. And the good news is you can have it. One of the things people really struggle with is like a to-do list. They're like, I just make a list and I'm like, oh, I can't get it done. I have a total game changer for you. And yeah, it's sort of in the list genre, but it's a little bit different. Click here to see all about how to tackle that. I hope something great happens for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.